Hey everybody, it's Bob from TNT Customs, and the backlighting is horrible. Thought I'd sit down for a minute. I've been going pretty good today. So I'm sitting on the forklift. It's the only chair I got over here. It's the last Tuesday of September. I guess that's what we're doing now, is the last Tuesday, so welcome. So, what do we got going on in TNT Customs land? Well, today we're out at manufacturing, and give you a view from the forklift. All right, I'll dismount. I sat long enough. Oh. Let's go this way. So there's a better view. Still got a pile of junk to put away, but there's nothing in my way anymore. So we finally got around to, because winter is coming, building a new material rack so I could get the old one out of what will be the Jeep Fab Shop. Got the lathe all leveled and squared and plumbed and all that fun stuff. Same with the mill. Today we put shelving up over top, and maybe tomorrow I'll start playing Sparky again and hang some lights, because when the garage doors are closed, it's like working in a dungeon over here. So, what else we got? Got the old drill press running. Previous people told me it didn't work, it was junk, throw it away. Nah, I fixed it. So it runs good. Let's see here. Kind of what I do. I fix stuff. Toolbox is stuffed in there for now. Probably not where it's going to stay, but it's out of my way for a minute. Also had Tyler out here today helping, and he raised all the shelves, reorganized the shelves a little, put in a shelf, and got everything. Never fails. All right, we'll go this way. At least the new compressor is not totally obnoxious. Those three, the finger there, we put them up to 8 feet because we're going to close that all in. I don't know what we're gonna do yet. Maybe sheet metal like that. Maybe, I don't know, something. Got to protect all our boxed merchandise from grinder and torch sparks and things of that nature. And it'll kind of isolate the noise from the manufacturing crew, which is over here. I think you guys have seen this already, but I'll show you what Jason's working on. So this building, way better than what we had. Not complaining at all. Utilities are bitching. Landlord's good. But the city stuck their nose in and made them put one hell of a slope in this floor is, if you can see there, there's oil water separators pretty much running the perimeter of the building, because the original tenant was going to do heavy truck fab, or repair, sorry. So city thought they needed oil water separators, so the architect thought that, you know, to get water to run downhill, you gotta have a hill. So in a 4-foot level, we have 3/4 of an inch of fall. Kind of hard to put a lift up. It's kind of going to be leaning Tower of Pisa. So that isn't going to work. So Jason and I, mostly Jason, but I had the idea and he did all the computer work. It's good to have Trey here. It's like, just handle it. So he's building these monstrosities. We just got this one all tacked up over here. So those will, according to the math anyway, make the lift go straight up and down, not that way. So dumping Jeeps over, that's a bad thing. So we don't want that. So we ordered up some 3/8 plate and started cutting and whittling and doing all that kind of fun stuff. So those should be all welded up and ready to hit the floor tomorrow. Maybe we'll have a lift up tomorrow. Then I get to do more sparky shit and wire the lift and run some more airlines, so we have reels, not those kind of reels, but reels for hoses and cords and nothing laying on the floor, because that makes me crazy. Speaking of material rack, there again, the old guy had the idea and the young guys implemented. So they were climbing up there last week welding stuff. We kind of built it a layer at a time and worked our way up, because it's 14 foot, I think, to the top. So working on a ladder up there is kind of stupid with heavy steel. So like I said, we built a layer, put down a sheet of 1/4 inch plate, perfect for walking on. They welded up. We moved the 1/4 inch plate to the next level, welded up, etc., etc., etc. And as we were working on the last level, our old trusty forklift said, screw you, we're done. And the idler for the fan drive locked up, so we just got that running again this morning, thanks to Bo. Had order parts from Cat from Timbuktu, and they showed up and put a new idler and a belt and a drive pulley and this, that, and the other, and the forklift's back up and running. So, speaking of things that died and got back running again, our press brake. So, if any of you were wondering why I wasn't waist deep in Lake Superior last week, because I was working on that. So, Bo and I tore the motor apart, cleaned, checked all the brushes and all that stuff, got checked out, tore the pump apart, rebuilt the pump. Just kind of scratched our heads for a minute. Tech support is kind of non-existent on a 15-year-old machine, so we were left to our own devices, and I reached way down in the bottom of the bag of Bob tricks and pulled out some old Air Force electronics and a meter and started chasing stuff without a schematic. That's always fun. But figured it out and changed one relay, took all the rest of them apart, cleaned the contacts, and she's back up and running again. So that was dodging a $80,000 to $100,000 bullet that I wasn't willing to swallow right now, so we fixed it. Other than that, as soon as the lift is up, the plan is to hook the stacker up, which is not going to be any fun to get out of there, but we'll figure it out because it's kind of buried and then a bunch of stuff went in around it as we were moving in. But I'll get it out and we'll get Rex out. Yay! So time to get on to finishing the fab work on Rex now that we have a place to work again. Other project coming in to here is Chris Peterson's blue, the Safari LJ. Him and I are finally tired of screwing with the starts with an end, ends with a vac, got an O in the middle, fuel injection system that is unreliable. So all of that's getting gutted and I get to learn and figure out how to install and tune Holley Terminator X Max. So I've been taking online courses on the tuning side of things. The install is pretty straightforward. It's plug and play, hook up like 4 wires or something and away it goes. But the tuning will take a minute. We'll road tune it, and then once I get it, or I think it's close, then I'll probably send it off to a dyno shop and have it finalized, as long as I can look over their shoulder and see how close I got, and the next one will get closer. So that's the plan. There, that will be sitting right where the forklift is. I don't know where the forklift is going yet, but it can't go there. There will be a Jeep there shortly. Got a couple pieces still that I'm gonna sit on the 2-step. Got a couple pieces yet we're still waiting on to finish the AC system up. It still runs, so we haven't dove into fuel injection and gauges and standalone and yada 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 just yet, because it does run, so we can get the AC system up and charged, because it's kind of dumb to drag it out here and then drag it back there being the other shop. That's where all the automotive equipment is, the AC machines and people that know how to use them, not me. That's another gray hair advantage, is like, you guys handle that, tell me when it's done. So the guys will get the AC up hopefully tomorrow. I think the parts came in yesterday and he had one ahead of that he had to get out today, and then tomorrow he'll finish it's one fitting. It's always one fitting. I don't remember what it was. He needed a 45 and we got a 90, or needed a 90 and got a 45, or I don't know, something. So, what's up, Christopher? So we'll get that done, get AC blowing nice and cold, which is good because tomorrow's supposed to be back in the mid to upper 80s, so perfect day to have AC functional and make sure that works right before we tear it apart and kind of turn it into a land yacht for a couple of weeks while I get fuel injection and gauges and all of that stuff swapped and get it running, and then start putzing around, tuning it. Nice thing out here where we're at now, there's like zero traffic. So I got a nice little 1/4 mile drag strip right in front of the shop, so up back and forth and back and forth. Might have to dodge the occasional FedEx truck because they're their depot is just down the street, but as long as you're not out there between 7 and 8 o'clock, they're already gone, and you're not out there between 4 and 5 when they come home, yeah, I get the street to myself. So not supposed to do it on the street. So okay. So we'll get that going. Hopefully we learn a few things on that project. Had a customer fly in from Minnesota this morning, actually last night. Spent the night in a hotel. Mary and I picked him up, had breakfast, shot the shit for a while. Haven't seen him, well, since he dropped the Jeep off, and life for everyone. It was a busy summer, so he finally got a couple of days hole in his schedule where he could come out and get the Jeep. So he came out and got that this morning, and haven't heard that it blew up or quit running, so the assumption is he's up in the Black Hills somewhere right now. It's all good. I've been driving the snot out of it for the last month and a half. Been done just trying to figure out how we're getting it to him, and so he finally decided to just jump on a plane and come and get it. So that one's out of my hair. I got both the big LJs back, Safari and Mojave. Mojave's got a dead motor. We worked on it all summer. I drove it a couple times. I'm like, it ain't. I know 4 liters and big tires and big Jeeps are kind of, they get the job done, but don't be in a hurry. Well, this one was really don't be in a hurry. So Russell and I talked about it a little bit. He decided he'd come over Labor Day. We'd go dinking around Wyoming, which that was a good trip. Got to drive part of the Continental Divide. Wyoming is the only place you can actually drive on if you're following your Gaia GPS or the other one. Yeah, that one. If you're whatever you got for a system, if you zoom in far enough, the little triangles, and you bopping right down you're on the Continental Divide for quite a ways. I don't know, 35 miles, something like that. And then you got to bail off. You'd be in the bottom of the Red Desert. For those of you that don't know, the Continental Divide, we have 2 in Wyoming. Comes up out of Colorado, crosses up into Wyoming by west of Encampment, up on what you would picture the Continental Divide to be, top of the mountain. And that's the ridge line you're running along. And then you run into some private ranch land that you can't cross, you gotta bail off. And then down in the Red Desert where the Continental Divide does that. It actually splits and goes around the Red Desert, or parts of the Red Desert. So think of it as the top of a volcano. The Continental Divide goes around the left side, around the right side, and in the middle is the Red Desert. So what little rain falls out there stays there. But you get down into there, you know, obviously mountaintops and trees down, and pines turn to cotton, or aspens, and aspens turn to cottonwoods, and cottonwoods turn to sage, and sage is the name of the game. And there's a lot of private ranch, checkerboarded ranch land out there. I don't know the exact story, but when the Union Pacific came through, you know, in the Transcontinental Railroad deal, Congress gave the railroad every other section, so it looks like a checkerboard. If you look at a land owner map, you know, where it's color coded. Looks like a giant, massive chessboard or checkerboard. So every other section was used to belong to the railroad. Some of it still does, but the majority, I guess the premise behind that is they could sell off that land, or if there was minerals or whatever, they could produce to try and pay for the railroad. That was a J.P. Morgan and all of those kinds of guys' deal. So the checkerboards, they're sections, so 640 acres, mile square. So we ran into a plethora of lock gates, and finally I just got tired of having to backtrack, and we were getting thin on fuel, so we bailed out and went up Rollins. And then from Rollins we diverted off of my quest to put the Continental Divide together. I'll go back to that again. Another day we went around Seminole Reservoir, crossed over the Miracle Mile. Lived here 31 years? 32 I think. Whatever. Saw my first herd, flock, gaggle grouping, I don't know what you call desert sheep in mass quantities. I don't know. I mean, normally sheep you call a flock. I don't know, I guess that applies to desert sheep. Sheep's sheep. So a flock of sheep, it just doesn't sound right, especially when they're way cooler than your domestic little white fuzzy dumber in a box of rocks sheep. So we saw a bunch of them. That was cool. Pulled off not too far after seeing them, found a nice spot, camped for the night. Next morning we got up and went to Pathfinder Reservoir, and went down the shore quite a ways down the west side, found a bitchin' cove, big cottonwoods, an individual that should have went for a swim but didn't, and then back out and up to Fremont Canyon, which is the canyon between Pathfinder and Alcova, and camped up there for the night. That was a bitchin' camp. Then made our way back kind of east and working south towards home. Stopped at Cave Creek Cave. Real original name there, fellas. But it's a pretty cool cave. Saw parts of that. To get in, really, according to the University of Wyoming, there's a map I found online before we went, and kind of studied the cave. And can we stop rolling the cart? And you go in 15-20 feet, and then you kind of got to belly crawl and do some crazy shit to get through, but it's supposed to open up to this huge room. Oi! Jason! Stop rolling the cart. I know, I am live. Stop rolling the cart. So anyway, we didn't go in that far because nobody really wanted to get dirty, and made our way out, found a cool little 2-track, saw some elk, saw some deer. So, you know, the weekend out in Wyoming. So, other than that, not a whole lot going on. Nice. Michael, I'm assuming you're Daniel's father. We didn't get to meet, but I heard you were here, and I'm glad you had a good time. So lots of cool stuff here. Right on? So Jason's got our test on the floor, and we're level. So in theory, the lift should not be a leaning Tower of Pisa. So we'll find that out tomorrow. So yeah, floor exploring hasn't been doing a whole lot, as most of you have noticed. It's just been one of them years. So a lot of stuff going on. Next year will be more of the same because it's the 20th anniversary. Keep tuned for upcoming events. I think Mary and I are kicking off the year with an appearance at Winter 4x4 Jamboree down in Sand Hollow in January. And then from there, we're going to try, I say snowbirding, but it's a vacation, it's a week. Can't really be a snowbird if you're only staying for a week, but we're going to try it. So we're going to go down way south in Arizona. I know some really bitch from previous for exploring trips. Some pretty bitchin' places we can get the motorhome into easily. Park it, enjoy the cactus and the desert, and maybe do some plinking, maybe do some jeeping, maybe do some napping, maybe sit in a lawn chair. I haven't decided yet. We'll figure that out when we get there. So we'll be hanging out down there for a week after Winter 4x4. And then, as typical, that time of year, I probably get to slip slide and spend the night in waysides because the roads are closed. So we get home when we get home. So I think then Tanner's got a pretty healthy schedule laid out for him and us. I got to get a Jeep running. So after Chris's experiment with the Holley fuel injection system, that's probably what's going to go on mine, because my LS is supercharged and that could potentially turn into a tuning nightmare. So sorry, I got a fly. The Holley Terminator works really well in boosted scenarios. So hopefully we can get that to run right and work good in the rocks and work good when I want to go play in the snow and float the valves. That's when we're having fun. So I don't know if I'll make snow wheeling this year, but that's been on my agenda for a while. I'll get the air, Alex. So yeah, busy. Gonna be a busy winter. Got a couple other projects in the wings. So as soon as we get, first and foremost is Rex. It's close. We got to get some final fab work and some sheet metal work done, interior stuff, and start plumbing and wiring and tuning and all that fun stuff. That one should be, according to Mopar, that's a plug and play, and the Mopar computer takes over. But I'm sure there's room for improvement. So yeah, get back to having a big Jeep again and being able to play it. And not that I'm going to get rid of or abandon for exploring, but it is going to take a back burner for the next probably 18 months. Because with our 20th anniversary, we really need to be out and about showing who TNT is again. People tend to forget if you don't get in front of them. So that's our plan. So I rambled long enough. yeah, stay tuned. Next month we'll have a lift up. We'll have Jeep store part over here. We always got Jeeps and cars and trucks and all kinds of cool stuff going on at the other shop. So just stay tuned. Tammy does a pretty good job of putting reels and whatnot up when we do cool stuff. So keep tabs on us there. And I think we're gonna stick to the once a month live thing. And that's all I know. I'm hungry. It's time to go home. So you guys have a good night. Thanks for tuning in.